Yeah, hi everyone. This is just to give you the first review of the paper CET. Uh, this afternoon slot is just got over 23rd. The paper it seems was very easy. I mean, there were students who have been able to solve all the 200 questions, and therefore it was comparatively easy. I mean, that's what we got review as. And so because the paper was easy, so automatically a lot of people, if you're looking at good score, you will have to aim for maybe all questions as far as possible, right? So puzzles, like last year, there were puzzles of two, three questions each, but here the puzzles were group questions, like 5 questions, 6 questions puzzles, and but they're easy puzzles, not difficult puzzles. So my suggestion is people who are going for net tomorrow, try to focus, practice puzzles and go circular arrangement, linear arrangement. There were questions like 5, 6 questions at one slot, and that could help. And total 30 odd questions of puzzles, but group of 5 questions, 6 questions, easy questions, and therefore were able to solve. People were able to solve. Okay. Jumble paper, like what was planned and discussed. The whole paper was jumble and a very easy paper. Cutoff would be very high, definitely. Very difficult to predict a cutoff right now because a lot of people were able to solve almost all the questions. So that means if the paper comes that easy, that means you should try to solve as many as possible, maybe all 200 questions if possible. Okay. So if you're going for tomorrow's paper, as I said, the focus should be puzzles because there were quite a few puzzles, easy puzzles, normal arrangement type of puzzles which are going about it. Apart from that, there were two DI sets, I think approximately 5 questions each. Anyone who have gone to the first slot, who have gone to the afternoon slot and know the paper can put it in the chat box. Anyone has queries can put in the chat box. We'll try to go about it, right? So DLR there were sets. I mean, I'm two, three sets which are there 5 questions each, and yes, easy, non-time consuming. Visuals, abstract reasoning was also easy. That is second area where you can focus on if you're looking at practicing for tomorrow. Normally, like mirror image, scene serial number. There was no paper cutting. There was no triangles, squares counting like it came last year. So no cubes. So a little different type of paper as compared to last year. If you look at last year abstract reasoning, there were these questions on number of triangles. There were these questions on number of squares. There was this questions of cube, which didn't come this year. The simple rotation, mirror image, water image, the simple abstract reasoning questions were what came across this year as far as the examination. Okay. There were RCs, 3 to 4 RCs or 4 questions around each. Again, always simple question. I mean, it's the fact that people were able to complete the whole paper, which means the paper was not difficult. The paper was comparatively easy. And since the paper was comparatively easy, I think you should try to aim to solve as many questions as possible. I mean, if you ask me what strategy would be good, I would still prefer a two-round strategy. First round, I'll go across all the easy questions and solve it. And then second round, I may go into a little bit more difficult questions and go about it. But your aim should be to try to solve as many questions as possible, try to solve all questions and go about it. That's what it is. So there was nothing that came surprising in the paper. I mean, there were antonym synonyms, around 8 to 10 questions of antonym synonym which were there. So that is one more. So most of the questions were non-time consuming. So you could go fast and try to solve it. And that's the reason the number of attempts obviously would be higher in this particular paper as compared to. So LOD was easy. I mean, as I said again, level of difficulty easy across areas, puzzles, abstract reasoning, maybe DIC, everything was comparatively easy. So there's no problem with regards to not being able to solve. So if you're decent with regards to your concept and you practiced enough, you should be able to solve. I think the key would be your accuracy. If you're able to solve with good accuracy, that means you would be able to do well as far as the exam is concerned. Therefore, accuracy will become the key as far as the exam is concerned. So, focus as far as possible. I mean, you need to go fast because you have to try to solve all questions, but also try to solve it as accurately as possible. If you're a person who is going for a exam tomorrow, then my suggestion would be to focus. If you're practicing, practice abstract reasoning so that you can go fast because that is easy. Practice your puzzles, the normal simple linear circular arrangement type of puzzles. Try to do that. That was easy, so you get enough marks. So these are the areas where you can go really high accuracy and still get marks, which is there. So these are the areas you can try to solve and go about it. It was a jumble paper. It was not a section-wise paper. It was jumble paper, so very difficult to exactly pinpoint right now how many questions were there of each type. But yes, it was a jumble paper. I mean, you will have one set of RC, then suddenly you'll have a puzzle, then you may have a quant question. it was a jumbled paper. Okay, but last year when you looked at the jumbled paper, the questions were 2 or 3 questions long. I mean, there were 2 questions of max, then 2 questions of DI, and so on. But this year it was more of a group of 4 or 5 questions. So you suddenly had 5 questions of logic. Last year the puzzles had hardly 3 or 4 questions in the puzzle. This time the number of questions in the puzzle are more. There were around 5, 6 questions in the puzzles, and that's how it goes. Quant also easy. I mean, everything was easy. There was no time-consuming questions. Um, Nikhil, abstract reasoning questions were basically based on rotation, mirror image, auto image. So if you can understand the basic concept of those, I think that should help you to understand abstract reasoning. Um, Anyone here has gone to the first slot can let me know with regards to gone to the paper. Just let me know how it is and what it is, and maybe I'll give you. I'm just getting a little bit more review about it. I will let you know. Just give me 2 3 minutes. In the meantime, you can ask me any queries that you want. The cutoffs will be higher, definitely. How much high? We'll have to wait and watch. Don't try to predict the cutoffs right now. Try to focus. Puzzles were in a group. I mean, there were 5 6 questions in a puzzle, and that's how it is. There was no critical reasoning. Okay, one more thing was there's no critical reasoning. Puzzles may there were matrix based questions. So again, what we said was arrangement questions, matrix based questions were what were there in the puzzles. So look at arrangement, look at matrix. Normal traditional puzzles which were there, that was what did come in the examination. So if you can prepare for those questions, that could help. Okay, so briefly repeating. Okay, uh, okay, so let me the questions were grouped. So there were 1 to 3 questions of one type, then there were 4 to 5 questions of second type, and so on. So questions were divided into a group of 3 or 5 questions as such. 40 question 30-minute strategy. Normally, I don't prefer that. I prefer 50 question 30-minute strategy because you get a buffer time to come back to difficult questions. That's all it is. But yeah, follow whatever strategy you're comfortable with. That's what is important. Um, the paper looked tough. Understand, the paper looked lengthy, but actually it was easy paper. I mean, when you start following the paper, it looked like a lengthy paper. But yes, a lot of people were able to solve most of the questions, and that's how it worked about. Okay, I briefly summed the whole thing across. Jumbled paper. Okay, the whole paper was jumbled, all the 150 questions. It was a group of 3 questions or 5 questions as such. The difference from last year paper, which was also jumbled, was there were more number of puzzles this year. Last year there were few puzzles. This were there were around 30 odd questions on puzzles. Puzzles were based on matrix arrangement, circular arrangement, linear arrangement type of questions. So that was puzzles. Um, uh, okay, then LR puzzles. So there were questions repeated in LR puzzles. So there were initial LR questions, and then the questions were again repeated later on. You can check that out. Coming to abstract reasoning, look at mirror image, water image, and look at rotation. That is what you can practice. Antonym synonyms. There were around 10 odd questions on antonym synonyms. RCs. There were around 3 4 RCs of each, 4 questions each. There were around 3 to 4 DILR sets of around 4 5 questions each, right? So all that was there. There was no traditional last year like uh, paper cuttings and other questions which was there. So yes, you will get more. We'll try to get more review and let you know. Go to the different websites. Try to find a review of what the type of questions were there. There is a chance, most likely, the type of question that was there like last year in the slot will remain same across. Okay, but yes, there could be a little difference in the weightage. There could be a little difference in the difficulty levels. So that will always be there. Okay, I'll come up with maybe more detailed review after a particular period of time. So this is the first review that was there. Um, so also okay. I'm just putting in the chat box more than questions on abstract reasoning, which is there. Okay, I'll again come up with a detailed review in some time. For right now, I'm signing off. So no new topics. It was all traditional topics. I mean, there was no new topics as such. Normal topics, no surprises in the paper. So people who went for the exam and who came out were normally happy with the paper and they found it easy. Is what I would say. Which if they found it easy, which means the questions which were there were normally that comes in the mocks. Those were the same questions that came in the exam. There were no set of new things that came across. Right. Fine. So we'll come across with more detailed review. Thank you and see you.